The Black Widow 2, or Gray Ghost for its two prototypes, was Northrop plus McDonnell Douglas' design submitted under the USAF AS Advanced Tactical Fighter ATF program in the late 1980s, early 1990s. It flew and tested against Lockheed's YF-22 ultimately. The ATF contract went to the YF-22, which became the F-22 Raptor. But what if the YF-23 had won? Would this sleek black stealthy fighter have shocked the Soviets, Chinese, or even North Koreans? Let's take a look at the design, why it might have been a better choice, but also its drawbacks. Flying Tigers puts together these profiles of historic aircraft designs as well as new concepts, whether they're real or speculative. We call them flying CADs because we think these designs deserve a place in history regardless of whether they ever left the drawing board or computer screen. And as a little bonus, since this is the month of love, we have a special treat at the end. So stay tuned. YF-23, Black Widow 2, or Gray Ghost. There are three things that people usually mention when talking about how advanced or future-shocking the design was: its stealth or low observable characteristics, super cruise, and its speed and altitude capabilities. Now let's take each of these. So for stealth, it had very clean contoured surfaces, serpentine or shaped air inlets, carefully aligned edges, and use of radar-absorbent materials. All of these features reduced its radar cross-section. Also, it had V-tails and a diamond or trapezoidal wing planform. All of these features reduced its radar cross-section. It also had the ability to carry weapons internally, which is huge for stealth because it avoided external hardpoints, which add drag and reflect radar waves. On top of stealth, the YF-23 could supercruise, meaning it could fly at supersonic speeds without afterburners. This is different from just speed because it meant the plane could respond faster and more quickly get to target, had a smaller infrared signature, and was better on fuel. The YF-23 could supercruise at about Mach 1.6 or 1.7 or possibly even a bit more according to some sources. In terms of speed and altitude, the YF-23 claimed a top speed over Mach 2 and had a very high service ceiling. Again, exact numbers vary depending on the source and much is classified. However, overall, the YF-23 was designed to be a very high-performing, stealthy, long-range fighter. Now, the YF-23 didn't win. The YF-22 ultimately won the ATF competition and became the F-22 Raptor. But there are a few reasons why people think the YF-23 might have been a better choice. First off, while the YF-22 had thrust vectoring, the YF-23 didn't or did only to a small degree. Thrust vectoring is great for close-quarters dogfighting because it helps a plane maneuver at high angles of attack. But the trade-off is that it makes the airframe more complex and reduces your stealth. So when you're designing a fighter, you have to make decisions on what your priorities are. The YF-23 took the approach that more stealth was more important than tighter turn radius. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because the YF-23's flight control and design still gave it very good high angle of attack handling. Secondly, the YF-23's design was already stealthy without thrust vectoring. Thrust vectoring adds weight and complexity, and when you're trying to design the lightest, most stealthy fighter possible, every ounce counts. Additionally, the YF-23 was a further evolution of Northrop's earlier F-117 stealth fighter, whereas the YF-22 was a new design. Some argued that because the F-117 had already proven itself in combat, the YF-23 was a lower-risk choice. Thirdly, the YF-23 was simply cheaper. The estimated cost was around $37 million per plane in 1988. That's around $80 million in today's dollars. In comparison, the estimated cost of the YF-22 was around $65 million per plane in 1988 or $150 million in today's money, so it was 50% more expensive. But what if we turned back time and told the U.S. Air Force to pick again? Let's say that both the YF-22 and YF-23 were available, and it came down to choosing one. Which one would you choose? The YF-22 with its thrust vectoring, gold-plated mirrors, and high cost, or the YF-23 with its simplicity, clean design, and lower price tag? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy these flying CADs, please consider liking and subscribing. If you'd like to support our work, check out our support page. There you can become a monthly or yearly supporter and get access to exclusive content. You can also support us by following our shop. Thanks to all of our supporters and everyone who watches these videos. We'll see you next time.